President Donald Trump has been busy on Twitter, going after Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz and even Fox News. But what is really raising eyebrows is this tweet. Numerous states introducing Bible literacy classes, giving students the option of studying the Bible. Starting to make a turn back? Great! Exclamation point. For this story and more, I have to bring in our 360 view from our political panel, Democratic strategist Anthony Tall and conservative talk show host Andrea Kaye. Thank you for joining me.
Good to be with you guys.
Okay, so Andrea, I have to ask, is this just Trump trying to gain back support after basically caving on the wall to his base?
Well, first of all, I have to take issue, if you will, with the characterization that Trump caved on the wall. I think he repositioned in order to get the wall done. But I don't think that if he lost any support, why would anybody assume that it would be specific to the Christian evangelical crowd? I think he has maintained his evangelical support because he has been the most pro-life president that we've seen in my lifetime, at least, and been supportive of religious freedoms in this country. So why would any conservatives abandon him? I think all he's doing here is just reinforcing his support for the Judeo-Christian principles and values that we have in this country. I think he understands that there has been a move to change the culture away from Judeo-Christian values and principles and to replace God with state. And what's wrong with the option? Oh, gee, you know, President Trump is wanting to give an option to kids in schools to learn the Bible. I think it's fantastic, and I think every American should support him.
But, Andrea, I don't think anybody's surprised by his position at this point. I think the question is just the timing of it. And you have to admit, there's been some disenfranchisement with his base, from everybody from Ann Coulter to some of his strong supporters like Lou Dobbs have been saying, what did you do on Friday? So this right here is kind of just feeding red meat to a very red base that goes along with their whole platform of what they like to support.
Look, I think President Trump has shown since he came down the stairways or the escalators at Trump Tower that he's somebody that can and will focus on a variety of different issues at any time of the day. And actually, the attack, the cultural Marxist movement to change the culture of America, to change us from a Judeo-Christian value-based free market, free republic of state system into one that's a Marxist movement. It's many intertwined with the wall, with many of the other issues that we have. This is actually a part. He's not just throwing something out to just appease people. He understands how this feeds into the bigger picture issues that we face and that our future of our country is at stake. And it depends on a restoration of the rule of law, our Judeo-Christian principles and values, and the understanding that this country was not founded on a Marxist utopian entitlement society, but one of individual responsibility, individual liberties, and understanding that our rights and our laws come from God, not from man.
Well, that's the thing, Anthony. You know, this is obviously a discussion about religious rights and religious freedoms in school and education. We can have that discussion. And that's a discussion that's going on both sides of the aisle. Obviously, a lot of Democrats are people of faith, and they also want to have that conversation. But how are Democrats viewing this in light of this past weekend, in light of Friday, with literally these grandiose victory tours that were taken by many Democrats, including Nancy Pelosi, saying that Trump caved, they got their winning. So, you know, was that the right role to take? And is this interjecting of the conversation right now more of a distract and awe strategy?
And first of all, let me be clear. I adore Andrea, but I think Andrea, no.
I think a lot of people do.
But obviously, the president caved. The president caved. He caved big time on this. And as usual, he's able to start something that will feed his base. He's had the whole Twitter issue with Ann Coulter going on, and Lou Dobbs, and a lot of his really, really rabid base is upset with him. So caving in on the wall and then coming up with something like this is a strategy to say, hey, I'm still with you, and to kind of provoke emotions and feelings that he knows tears this country apart. This isn't really an issue of whether or not there's we have the right to study the Bible, or we're losing our Christian Judeo values in this country. I agree with Andrea on that point. But this is a matter of whether or not the president is using this as a tool and injecting it at a time when he knows that he's coming off a huge loss, and he faced a humiliation, basically in front of Nancy Pelosi, who wasn't the most favorable person 2 or 3 months ago. There was talk about her not even being able to obtain the speakership. So she's coming out stronger. He looked weaker. This is a good way to get the base back. and I think that's what he's doing.
Well, let's talk about a little grace that Nancy's shown us. She is now another breaking news story in the last hour. She's invited President Trump to deliver the State of the Union on Tuesday, the 5th of February. How do you think President Trump is going to react to this? And do you think that he should give the State of the Union tomorrow night as planned now that the government's open? That was always kind of the goal.
Well, I think that it's going to once again make Nancy Pelosi look stronger again, because she was able to stop him from coming there on the time frame which was supposed to be tomorrow. Now, if he comes next week, she's shown that not only did I beat him on the wall, but I also made him have to come a week later. This is a tradition that we've had. The president usually goes over, gives the State of the Union. He's usually invited. Right. And she's saying, hey, I delayed the president for a week. This shows you the leverage and the power that I've got now. So I think it works in her favor, the fact that he's going to do it next week.
But, Andrea, we know this president. We know his track record. He does not like to be on defense very long. What is the president's offensive move to get back on the offense in Super Bowl fashion, win the scoring touchdown between the two?
I think what he's going to do is he's going to hold off. I think he showed deference to her when he allowed himself to be delayed on the State of the Union address, and I think he's going to come out on February 5th, and I think he is going to deliver such a smackdown. It's going to upset the Democrats more than what the NFL did to my beloved Saints in New Orleans, and they are going to be writhing in pain after he delivers that State of the Union address. Y'all take notice. It's going to be a thriller and a killer.
Well, Anthony and Andrea, I don't know if I'm more excited about you saying y'all on this show or rhyming thriller and killer, but both of you, great conversation. I hope you'll join us again.
Thanks for having me.
Hey YouTube, thanks for checking out our channel. We hope you enjoyed the video. We have tons of content for you just like this. For more of RT America's one-of-a-kind news and analysis, be sure to subscribe and never stop questioning more.